Let's be honest. Bitcoin has had trouble the past 175 days. Price action has been horrific. It's been a little bit gruesome. It's been hard to watch. It's been painful watching during a bull run some of those gains you have made dwindle away. And you're wondering, when is this thing going to turn around? There are two huge things that could help price action completely turn around. Number one, the weekly Stochastic RSI. I need to give the latest and greatest of what is happening with this potential cross up that we have. And then we have the 2-week Stochastic RSI, which is having some trouble. And I need to give you the latest and greatest on that and how these two intermingle together to potentially change this bearish price action that we've seen the past 175 days. On top of that, I do have some bad news of how this is going to play out if things start going wrong, and I'm going to tell you exactly what would happen if things start going wrong and exactly what price action to watch. It's as simple as this. If Bitcoin in the next couple weeks gets above a very specific price action, we are going to be looking pretty good. But if we don't get above this price action, things are going to get even worse than they are now. All of that is going to be covered in today's video. Let's get into it. Breaking news, Bitcoin just flashed red on the legendary Gaussian channel. I just made an emergency video. If you're on the email list, this video is waiting for you right now. If you're not on the email list, you can sign up for free right now and immediately unlock this emergency video. Just go to cryptocrewuniversity.com. Hi, I'm Steve. I quit my job over 13 years ago, been traveling the world since, thanks to my trading and investing skills. Join me for sponsorship-free TA with genuine value that actually works. Subscribe. So here we are on the Bitcoin US dollar index, and we are on the weekly chart. As I had mentioned, there are two huge reasons Bitcoin's price action can turn around, but there are clearly some bad signs happening in the charts and one specific price action that I need to let you in on. And we're going to cover that exact price action and the bad news later in the video. We've got a lot of stars of the show. We've got the weekly Stochastic RSI, the 2-week. We also need to cover the RSI middle of our screen that has had rejection from this trend line for a couple hundred days, and price action currently getting rejected from this 21 SMA, however, still range bound. Let's start with price action. As you look at it, you can see that this line right here, this green line that's on your screen as we speak, is a line I want you to have on your screen for every bull run in every bear market for the rest of time that you're in Bitcoin. And here's why. It's the 21 SMA on the weekly scale. And simply put, when we're in a bull market, we hold this line as support. When we're in a bear, we hold this line as resistance. It's very simple. So what you see happening here is some issues with this moving average. We've seen this before, and it's happened right here. In the middle of our bull run, where we had some issues here, it was foreshadowing that price action was going to get worse before it got better. That's the only time in history that we struggled with this green line in the middle of the bull. In other words, Bitcoin is showing very similar signs to the COVID crash. Are we about to have a COVID lockdown again? Very unlikely, but the COVID lockdown did not cause this crash. This was inevitable in the charts. The chart had not double bottomed, and we were far overextended to the upside, and we were showing major warning signs during here, just like we're showing some warning signs now. Now, when you look at the rest of the bull markets, we never breached this green line with bodies closing below. We had some bodies close in the middle of this line, but we never had these bodies really show some bearishness heading into what we see happening today, where clearly bodies closing well below this 21 SMA is incredibly noteworthy. So as it stands right now, this 21 SMA is holding us as resistance, and it's been doing that over the past 2 months. We've had one singular weekly candle close as support. All the other ones in the past 2 months have been as resistance. Now, when you look at it, you can say, okay, we created our all-time high back here in March. And for the past 170 days, we've been range bound. In other words, we have this resistance up above and this support down below, and we've just been bouncing in between here. As I mentioned months and months ago, you shouldn't be concerned with any price action that happens inside of this range. Why? Bitcoin always is range bound. It's only sometimes that we're trending. Like here, in the midst of the bull, we were range bound for almost 200 days right here. You can see we were even range bound at the bottom of the market. We were even range bound right here. There's two kinds of markets. There's range bound markets and there's trending markets. Bitcoin is only trending up or down sometimes, but most of the time we're range bound. Let's be honest, that will put your mind at ease when you realize, oh, everyone overreacts every single day. Oh my God, Bitcoin is up $14. Oh my God, it's down $7. People freak out. The reality is we've simply been range bound for 175 days. That's it. That's really what has been going on. So you shouldn't have been worried about price action at all. But if you were, then one thing to be really concerned with is Bitcoin made a top 175 days ago, and we haven't touched that price even remotely close since then. Luckily for you, if you follow my channel, 175 days ago, we were up here setting an all-time high and everyone was looking at 100K, and we looked at the facts and we had this to say. Roll the clip. Attention cryptocurrency investors and traders. There is a major correction coming to the crypto space. So in that clip, we haven't touched price action since. When we put out that video, it was laughable that Bitcoin would have any trouble after setting an all-time high. And here we are when we called the absolute pinnacle top of that move 175 days ago. Let's just be clear about the facts there. So what we have on our side is we're just range bound. There's no big deal here. There's nothing to see. There's no real behind the scenes information there. It's just par for the course. Now, that's price action. So price action currently getting resistance from this line that we don't like too much. And the only other time that we've really done that was the COVID crash, but we got resistance well before the COVID crash, right? It was foreshadowing of what's to come. That's our only data point that has any similarity to what we're seeing now. There's some turmoil that could potentially be under the hood, under the radar, that we need to uncover. Breaking news, Bitcoin just flashed red on the legendary Gaussian channel. I just made an emergency video. If you're on the email list, this video is waiting for you right now. If you're not on the email list, you can sign up for free right now and immediately unlock this emergency video. Just go to cryptocrewuniversity.com. Now, what we also see, middle of our screen, RSI, weekly scale. You see back here, when we had an all-time high back in March, we started this move. And very similarly to price action, we have seen a high here, a lower high here, and a lower high here in price action. Before we get to the RSI, let me say this because this is incredibly important. Actually, I'm going to save that until the end of the show when I talk about this bad news that I had mentioned. We'll get back to that at the end of the show, but that is so important, and it's a lesson that you'll be able to use forever. So middle of our screen, RSI. We had a high here, a lower high here, a lower high here, yet another lower high here, and a lower high here. We have multiple touch points, and we need at least 3. We have more than that. And we have this downtrending line. In other words, we have price action being range bound, but our RSI is getting destroyed. Remember, RSI represents overbought, oversold. So we were incredibly, fascinatingly overbought up here. where everyone and their mother, including Grandma Betty, the leader of the herd, were buying like crazy up here when we called that there was going to be a surprise crash. Now, everybody laughed at this concept of a surprise crash. I don't think they're laughing anymore. We're literally 175 days later, and we haven't even gotten remotely close to that price action. Now, we've gotten destroyed in our overbought, oversold, which is good news for us because everyone who bought up here, they already sold and they're selling like crazy, right? You can see our weekly RSI is dipping. We did dip below the 50 momentarily. Remember, I told you the simple rule of this point going forward for all data, bear or bull, look at the weekly RSI, and we typically hold 50 as support during a bull and 50 as resistance during the bear. In other words, when you go to the weekly chart and you put on your RSI, you just look, are we above 50 or below 50? And that will generally tell you if we have problems or no problems. Right now, we're above 50 and we're in a bull, so there's no problem. It would be a problem if we were at 40 right now and we're in a bull. That would mean like, hello, we have a big problem. This is not typical. There could be a big curveball that's about to hit the market. But we're not there right now. So everybody take a deep breath. Everything's under control. Tilt your phone to the side and subscribe. Now, what you want to see is if you're a Bitcoin bull, you want to see price action break through this trend line that we've had trouble with for a couple hundred days. And we want to hold price action above this green line as support. If you're a Bitcoin bull, those are two things you want to see, and you want to see it right now. Now, there are two things that can help us achieve what I just said, and that's the weekly stochastic RSI. Now, for those of you who are relatively new, we have between 1 and 3 weekly stochastic RSI crosses per year. In other words, it's momentum into the market just 3 times maximum, usually between 1 and 3. In other words, there are 1 to 3 really good times to buy each year, and that's exactly when we have a stochastic RSI cross. This is not by accident. When we have a stochastic RSI cross, it injects momentum into the market, and when we have momentum into the market, you see price action start to be trending instead of range bound. And it happens when we have a stochastic RSI cross, which is interesting because we usually have it about every 6 months. Like I said, sometimes we have false signals like we had recently, right? We started to have a cross up back in May, and price did jump. We had a jump from about 56 all the way up into the maybe 71-ish, 72-ish area, right? That was from that fake out stochastic RSI cross. Then we had another fake out back here when price action dipped to about 53, and we went from 53 up to about 70-ish. So once again, even a fake out stochastic RSI pumps the market, right? Wait till you see what a real stochastic RSI can do to the market. Look no further than our most recent one, right? We were range bound for a couple hundred days here. Then we had this stochastic RSI cross. It took us from about 25,000 up to 74. These are no joke. These stochastic RSI injects momentum into the market. Momentum will push price action up, and the rest is history. Now, when you look at it, we have on our side a weekly stochastic RSI cross here. Now, is this going to be another fake out? Here's what you need to do. We need this stochastic RSI cross to, first of all, confirm with the fast and the slow line above the 20. Right now, the fast line, the blue, is above 20, but the slow line, the orange, is not above 20. So we don't have an official cross yet. However, we're pretty close. What we need this to do is we need our fast and slow line to get above this structure that we've created here at about 50. If we can create a higher high, we will have our market structure intact. You can see we have our bottom here, our double bottom here. We had our previous swing high here, our higher high, and we had our low here and a higher low. In other words, that's the definition of an uptrend. We have a higher high and a higher low, and we want this uptrend to continue with this Stochastic RSI creating yet another higher high. If it did that, it would be highly probable that this Stochastic RSI cross, our momentum in the market, would finally push our RSI through this level of resistance. And if those things were true, it's very likely that our price action would be testing this level of resistance, right? Those things are all incredible. It's a domino effect, right? That would need to happen. If you're a Bitcoin bull, that's your dream scenario, because what we also have on our hands right now is the 2-week Stochastic RSI having potentially a fake out, right? We had a potential Stochastic RSI on the 2-week back on July 29th. And just recently, this just closed. This is literally hot off the press. We had a cross back down on the 2-week scale. Now, if you're wondering, like, how do I understand this, Steve? The 2-week, the 1 week? I don't quite get it. I kind of follow what you're saying, but I don't quite get it. Here's the easiest way to understand it. Everything will show first on the 1 week, and then it takes more time to show on the 2-week. But I'll put it simply to you. If we have the Stochastic RSI on the 1 week make a higher high, like we just talked about with the market structure, if it creates a higher high, it's likely going to break through here. And if it does those two things, it's very likely that this fake out will turn back into a cross up, because of the momentum on the 1 week scale will take some time to show on the 2-week scale, and that will push that to have an official cross. That's the easiest way and the most simple way to understand it. Now, I did mention I had some bad news, and I need to lay it out in a clear and concise manner. I mentioned if you're a Bitcoin bull, this is what you want. You want to have a 1-week Stochastic RSI cross. You want to break through here, and that 1 week is going to lead the 2-week into being a cross, and it's likely we're going to be battling the top of resistance here. Now, all that is fine and dandy, and all of that is true based on actual facts. However, if you're a Bitcoin bear and you want prices to go down, there's something really simple that you need to hope for. Let me show you price action. Price action over the last almost 200 days. We had a high here with this move in price action. We had a lower high with this move in price action, and we had yet a lower high in this move in price action. What has happened along the way with these lower highs? Well, the first time we had a high and we had our first lower high, we took out our previous low. This is something that I talked a lot about the past handful of months, but this is called a failed rally, where you had a high here and this didn't get as high. When it doesn't get as high, it's called a failed rally, and usually it goes even lower than the prior low. It's called taking out the prior low, right? And the pattern just repeats until it's broken. For example, it did the same thing again. We had a swing up in prices, the market got bullish again, but it failed to get higher high than this. It got yet another lower high. Because it got a lower high, it crashed and took out that pivot low yet again. I'm going to warn you, if you're a Bitcoin bear, the only thing you need to hope for is that when we have this Stochastic RSI cross, which we do now, that prices rally, which they're doing now, but they don't get above this swing high. Let me be very clear. If Bitcoin's prices over the next couple weeks do not get above this 70, 71K, we will go lower than this swing low, and this swing low is currently at 49.2K. I just need to warn you, this is a basic market structure and a basic trend. Bitcoin is in a short-term downtrend. That's not up for debate. That's not my opinion. That's a bona fide fact. So in this rally that we're in now, this mini rally, if it doesn't get higher than here, it will get lower than here. Mark my words. I just want to warn you. Now hit that subscribe button. I'll see you right back here in the next video. This bull run is our road to 500,000 subscribers, but I need your help. Today, tell one person about our YouTube channel. how we spit facts, go against the herd, take no paid sponsorships of any kind. Road to $500,000, let's go.